Okay, hopefully this is working. I can never tell if everything is running live, but we'll just make it work. Another day of running through... Oh no, I made this too big. Let's decrease the brush size. 10? I think that should be good. Wonder how the mic is. Hopefully it's close enough. The captions are picking it up, so it's probably fine. Let's see. Huh. What did I have it on before? Well, guess we're stuck with this. Let's see. Another day, another hour of me practicing this, trying to get faster to... What's the word? Basically just be efficient in processing the images I see and building the skills necessary to write to draw my own stuff for my writings. I think probably the main point that I'm improving from doing this is I can kind of roughly see the importance of having like shorthands for all the limbs and stuff. That's probably why people study anatomy, so they know all the muscles and things like that. But like, if it looks good enough, then that's all that really matters, right? And I think that getting good enough doesn't require that much anatomy study. It just requires building your own set of shortcuts. As for me, I do think that I'm subconsciously building up that inventory. It's just that since I'm focusing on doing this in a self-restricted time limit of 30 seconds, it requires me to basically go in overdrive and get it right the first time, since I'm not allowing myself to delete either. I do wonder if that's why I see people split up all the parts though. You got like the upper arm, forearm, then you have the hand like this too. So they're all segmented. But since I've been training with gesture drawings like this, I don't separate. I just like draw the outer line first. But I do wonder if it'll be simpler to just like do the parts. And that's what this is for, experimentation. We'll find out. Then of course gotta do the eyes too eventually, or the faces. But let's see, what can we talk about today that will be useful for other people? What can I pick my own brain about? I guess the concept of difficulty is something that I've been thinking about. Like, what does it mean for something to be hard, right? Usually, I think that people, when they say something is hard, it kind of serves as a mental shortcut. You say it's hard and that you can't do it, and then the conversation stops there. They kind of equate it with difficulty. I mean, no, not difficulty, with impossibility. But that's not true, right? If something is hard, it just means that it takes more effort for you to do, not that it's impossible. Now then the question is just, is it simply a matter of effort that makes it hard? I don't think so, right? Because if it was just a matter of effort, then you would say it's time consuming. But things can be time consuming and hard, but there are things that are time consuming that are not hard. So then what is hard? Is it just a perceived mental effort? If that's the case, then nothing is hard because it's just a trick of the brain, right? But that also can't be the reason. So I was doing some thinking about it some more, and then I came to the conclusion that if someone says something is hard, it's probably because that thing is unfamiliar to them. It goes back to what I was talking about the other day with the mere exposure effect. If you see something done repeatedly over and over again, then... Oh, that's interesting. I can just do the line and build around the muscles. Yeah. Oh, anyways, if you see something being done repeatedly, your brain improves your ability to process that thing. And then that increased ability to process is recognized as ease. It's basically simpler for you to do. So then it doesn't feel difficult. It's not hard. If that's true, then the old saying of just putting in the reps is accurate. If you just do it over and over and over again, then you're going to be making it easier, since you are literally improving your brain's ability to process that information. It gets flagged as familiar data, so then your brain makes it easier to parse it out. And because it's easier to parse it out, overall it's easier. And the funny thing with things that our brain finds easy is that it makes us like it a bit more. I think in psychology, this is what they explain as the cause behind people turning from strangers to acquaintances to friends. Just like being around someone long enough breeds familiarity because your brain flags them as familiar data. And it likes familiar things because it conserves energy. It's like a very lazy computer. And very much not like Google Chrome. But anyways, if that's the underlying core of difficulty, right? If something is hard only because you don't know how to process it, that means that knowledge should be able to decrease that difficulty. If you know about it, it should be less hard. And that's definitely true too, right? I'm sure you have your own personal experiences where, although at the beginning you didn't know what to do and it seemed impossible, after you learned a bit, it became very much manageable. And you started doing what you thought you could not do. It went from being something you couldn't even start to process to something that you had solved, at least in your head. But then that begs the question, if it's so simple to make something seem easy, then why don't more people think that way? Or why is it that everybody keeps saying things are hard? So that's the next thing to consider, right? Why is it that people perceive things to be hard even if the solution is so simple? It could be a mindset shift. Maybe there are some self-limiting beliefs that are preventing people from perceiving things as easy, because something in their core self is basically short-circuiting the familiarity process. Every time you are experiencing it, it's like you're seeing it for the very first time. Then because of that, your brain never has the ability to acclimate. Maybe this is why different types of pains can't be... Like, you can't get used to certain types of pains, or at least people say. But I do wonder about that too. Because at the end of the day, everything that you experience depends on the labels that you give it. If you go out of your way to call something and define something a certain way, and then if you do so with enough conviction, isn't it possible to just reframe anything? Like, if something objectively is hard because you have not had any familiarity with it, if you just start telling yourself that it's familiar, then won't you make it familiar? Oh, this is probably why some people can pick up things easy, right? It's relating it to something familiar. Let's say that if you start football and then you are very good at it, I'm talking American football, then you start up rugby, it probably won't be hard because there are similar things in it, right? Like, I think the shape of the ball that you use is roughly the same. The going up and down the play area is similar. The rules are different, but not enough that you can't adapt. Then the question becomes, is the solution to making things easier and reducing difficulty simply a matter of your ability to relate it to something that you already know? And my intuition is that that's true, right? I think this is just how learning works, isn't it? Since you have things that you are familiar with, everyone naturally has a set of familiar data. If you can find a way to create even the slightest similarity between what you know and what you don't know, then you're going to be reducing the perceived difficulty because it goes from unfamiliar to familiar. You basically reduce the net amount of unknowns, and then the ones that you can't quite handle from your prior exposed data sets, you just make it familiar with repeated exposure. So then the net processing is reduced from the get-go. But that implies that there's a critical point where if you do enough relating to what you already know, then any subject becomes easy. Maybe this is the hallmark of genius, right? The ability to simplify and analogize in order for completely new topics to be turned into familiar topics. And in doing so, turning what should be difficult into what is familiar and easy. But then that brings up an interesting implication. If that is how you turn the difficult and unknown into what is known and what is easy, then that implies you can build unknown things from things that you already know. And this is already something that people do, isn't it? This is the act of creation. Like authors and artists, there's a saying that you create what you already know. So you draw inspiration based on the database of accumulated life experience, and then you tweak it a little bit so it's not the same but is familiar enough. And that familiarity slowly fades into unfamiliarity as you add features that didn't exist in your memory. Maybe this is why Picasso said that the greatest artists steal. You take pieces of what exists and then you twist them into something that is unrecognizable from their root source. That too would probably be a hallmark of genius, but in the other direction, synthesis, right? In one way you deconstruct, in the other way you construct. It's analysis versus synthesis. But if that's the case, that implies that anyone could do this. You just have to understand how it works. Because there's no absolute unknowns then, if that's the mental process that's required. Even if something looks entirely unfamiliar, there is always a shared trait. It just might be a bit abstract. Like, isn't that a child game or a children's game? Find these similarities and differences, right? You just take two unrelated things and then you try to connect them in one way or another. I think there used to be a game like that for Wikipedia, where you try to see how many links it takes to get from one page to another. I think that game is literally the process of how learning occurs, or at least one method of learning, because you're looking strictly at the similarities as well as the dissimilarities. Two things can be similar to each other in how they are not similar to something else too. Like cooking and drawing are both not like music because they don't use musical instruments. That seems obvious, but there are things like that which exist that are not quite so obvious. But if you think about it long enough, you can find something. And going back to the concept of difficulty then, that just implies that hard doesn't actually exist. It's just a measure for the net amount of information that must be processed. And if you think about this, at least in terms of video games, isn't that true too? Because if a game is in hard mode, then you have to deal with a lot more unknowns. You basically have to account for many more rules that you wouldn't on a lower difficulty. There might be new boss strategies and behaviors to cope with. They might, instead of just moving in a set pattern, respond to your player input. In that case, difficulty can be described not as time consuming or as a measure of time, but just as a measure of computational intensity, right? And then if you take a look at the games that people call hard, I think that holds up. Dark Souls, for example, is considered hard because you have to be able to account for enemy attack patterns and move around while also counterattacking. But then, since that's true, it also implies that gamers who routinely play games on hard mode are people who are adept at processing information. Oh, and hello there, XViewQL. QL? XViewQL? Pronunciation is difficult. But I'm just thinking about the concept of difficulty and what it means for something to be hard. I have come to the conclusion that if something is hard, it's simply just something that you're unfamiliar with, and that if something is hard, it is something that you have to process in extreme detail. Like there's a lot of unfamiliar information hitting you at once, which is what makes it hard. That's also the information overload that some people say they get. Then the question I'm trying to resolve is that if that's true, what's an efficient way to quickly reduce the difficulty to learn hard skills, quote unquote? And I'm thinking that the solution is the ability to very quickly find similarities between what's new and what's old. And here, when I say what's old, I mean the information that you already know or the skills you already know. And I think that gamers are very adept at this because since we play so many games, right? And we get exposed to so much new information all the time, we can tend to pick up a new game and run with it. We're already subconsciously using this framework all the time when we pick up a new game. So then I'm just thinking, is it just a simple mindset shift? Oh yeah, I'm working on Hope's reels a bit more too. I just completely got sidetracked from them because I finished the actual visual novel instead. If you want, I think there's a link to it on my channel somewhere if you want the visual novel format. I think I made it a app too. But I'll be getting back to doing more of Hope's reels probably tomorrow or so. I'm trying to build a stockpile of them because I have a trip soon to Europe next weekend and I'll be very busy during that. I also want to add more conversations with Hope since she has, I think, 100 talking points, but I think I've come up with a few more since then. I'm glad you enjoyed them. The new reels probably might not be voiced. Oh no, let's see. I think I can make 50 more reels that will be voiced by Hope, but after that it might be difficult because rendering the voice and everything too takes quite a long time. So we might just have her do the generic NPC blips for a bit, but we'll see. I appreciate you stopping by though, and thank you for the well wishes for my trip. Now, I just need to hurry up and figure out the cheat code to reducing difficulty so I can rapidly improve at this skill and then draw proper CGs for Hope. Because I want to make them like a proper reel too, and not just in a visual novel format. I think it'd be nice if it was not an animation, but like an animatic. Is that what they're called? Where you got like the image and then the dialogue boxes. Let's see. Like Hope would be here or something. There'd be like a dialogue box like this. Something like that. Oh, it's something I also learned about this. Apparently thumbnails are a thing where you just like draw a short mini composition, and that is super useful. I'll be doing that later. But I'm glad that you enjoy Hope's reels. I also unironically listen to Hope because the reason that I made her is that I basically wanted something like that in my life. It's not really ASMR, but it's very uplifting. So she helps me calm down too. Oh yeah, thank you. I'm glad that you enjoy my voice. I've been told that it's very soothing as well. I'm planning to get more into the shorts too. That's why I'm streaming like this. I plan to chop them up into 1 or 2 minute reels and structure them accordingly. It's just a matter of time management. I'm getting close to the point where I can rearrange my hours that I would spend training into creative work though, because I've reached a point in my physique where the returns are diminishing. So I'll probably be able to do more of those. I plan to have a at least daily schedule of reels. The problem is I don't have a consistent daily schedule time set yet. It'll be sometime within the 24-hour time slot, but I don't know if it'll be consistent yet. Oh, speaking of which, I should probably make a playlist for Hope's reels. I've been meaning to, but I think I forgot to. I don't know if the reels stopped showing up on your page, but I think there should be 50 of Hope's reels on my channel. I think YouTube stopped pushing them out for a bit because there was too much at once or something. But I'll get back to scheduling those soon too. I'm just trying to get into the YouTube algorithm so it knows what I do, because I recently saw a video explaining how it worked, and I think that was pretty accurate. Functionally, the way the algorithm works is that it's kind of like a person. You gotta teach it what your content is about over time. And then once the algorithm knows what your content is about, it'll push it out to people who'll like it. Is it only 18? That's interesting. Let me check on my phone. Maybe it got messed up. I mean, there's no point, or no, there's no harm in me re-uploading them. So if it did get messed up, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. Oh, it looks like it definitely did get messed up. So if you say there's only 18, I might as well delete and re-upload them then, slowly over time. I guess YouTube, oh, now that I think about it, roughly around the time I uploaded them, there was a weird glitch on my end where it said it was processing it for a long time. It's possible that whatever happened made YouTube just like not push them out. So after I finish streaming here in like half an hour, I can go do that. I'll just set it to a daily schedule then, because YouTube apparently does not like me putting out, or not putting out, uploading a lot of them at the same time, even on the back end. Maybe something like that broke. Either way, thanks for the heads up on that. I was wondering because it said that there was only one view on each of the reels, but that was strange since, well, there definitely should be more, unless it never got put out anywhere. And then the reels seem to be, or the views seem to be only from me, which was strange. Either way, I'll get that resolved soon. My dilemma currently is just what to do with my channel as a whole. Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed them. Yeah, I'll make a playlist for you too, because it'll be useful for me as well to have a playlist of all the reels together. But anyways, I'm at a bit of a crossroads because I do want to do more streaming and activities as a VTuber like this on my channel, but if I have a bunch of content with hope and stuff too, I'm a bit concerned that YouTube will be confused on what to do with my content. As far as I can tell, it's basically like training an AI. Like, if you've ever played with ChatGPT or something, and then it got used to your tells and personality, etc. Apparently, that's how the YouTube algorithm also works regarding your content. So I gotta figure out how to train it, or what to teach it about me. Because we have me, who is a currently not practicing attorney who's taking basically a sabbatical to try creative work. But there's also Hope, who is my original character, who is doing cheerful messages for people. Okay, so Hope's voice is interesting. Her voice is technically AI because I used 11 Labs to generate it, but I'm also the one who is saying the base stuff, but then it gets like messed up a lot. I guess that my voice is too complicated, I guess, for 11 Labs, because it never sounds right. And I've been wondering if I just redub Hope myself. Like, if I had a decent voice changer that was proper, or if I knew someone who could dub Hope over for me, then I would do that. But we'll see. I've been thinking about it too, because it's not really sustainable the way I had Hope's voice set up earlier. Like I said, rendering the video itself takes time, but then rendering the voice takes too long. And I was wondering if I just train my own model on my voice and adjust the input. But that also takes a long time, because then I need to spend like a week or two doing the training data set for my voice samples. And I was thinking about maybe just getting like not Miku, but like Megurine Luca, the not Vocaloid but synthesoids. I forget what they're called. In order for Hope to have a better voice. But for her dialogue, I do write all of them myself. Oh, if you're talking about Hope as an actual person, yeah, she's not a real person. The lore is accurate. Yeah, right? I was wondering if I just get Miku and her English set and then learn how to use that, because I've been planning to get into composing too, and I might as well learn it so that I can use that. And it would be a great, what's the word, time investment for learning of that, for picking up that skill too. And I think that her voice would suit Hope. Oh yeah, that's my personal IRL account. That's the other dilemma I'm facing. Since I want to do these activities, it might be better to have a strictly content creator activity, what's the word, account, and split it all up. Because as much as I like having a personal account to showcase all my stuff, because of the fact that all the social media platforms apparently now use some form of generative AI to push their content, the fact that I just have so much diverse content like ruins my discoverability. Like, I want to do singing, composition, drawing, show off my writing skills and stuff, as well as my web novels. But I have a giant intuition that is not just intuition, but I'm pretty sure is backed by simple logic, that it is going to be near impossible for my account to be found organically via like suggestions. Oh, I appreciate you following it. It's always nice to have more people see what I can do and see what I do. If you do like VTubers and then you enjoy reading, I have a story called Returning Transcendent opens an idol agency. The premise is kind of like a main character from a Chinese cultivation novel returning to Earth, but stumbles upon opening up a VTuber agency instead. I think if you just Google Returning Transcendent, you'll find it. It should be on a site called Scribble Hub, and it should also have, I think, 2.5 million views. I need to get back to updating that though. I've been very busy with a big anniversary project for it, but my skills and funds have not lined up enough for me to make the anniversary project go over too well. So that's been on an indefinite hiatus. I was planning to turn it into a proper visual novel, which is why I've been messing with things like Hope's story. Oh yeah, I love Persona. Persona 3 in particular is definitely a life-changing experience for me, because I got the game for the PS2, I think on sale somewhere, and I thought it was a horror game, I think, initially, because of the shadows and stuff. It wasn't though, it was an RPG, and that was fun. But then what happened is that I got all the way through to the answer portion of it and got traumatized by the very graphic decomposition scene of the MC, if you know what that is. But I really enjoy Persona's gameplay loop. It's very much soothing and everything. Oh, I wouldn't say it's just best dating sim. I think it's just the best life sim. Like, if you ever want to re-experience high school in a more fun way, and a way that would actually make high school enjoyable, Persona games all the way. 3, 4, 5. I think 5 is definitely the best one for a proper high school simulation. But 3 is really fun if you want to be like secret organization high school role playing. Being involved in the secret agent stuff as C's is super fun. But Persona 5 is also really fun in that you get to go from being an awkward teenager to being a very much amazing person. Oh, I love 4 too. It's just that ever since I beat it and I understand the twist, it's hard for me to play it again because that was such a core like aspect of the game. You just see all the hints on who did it basically. But I'm looking forward to how Revival handles everything. And or the new remake for it handles everything. Hopefully they have more content. It'll be nice to revisit Inaba, but like with fresh eyes. Gotta say though, out of all the main characters, Yu is definitely the most fun one. Makoto slash Minato is very composed and chill, and Ren is just amazing as a super cool and suave MC, but Yu is like definitely the most relatable guy. A random city dude thrown in the boondocks of the countryside, all while dealing with a mystery. It just reminds me so much of Scooby-Doo that I enjoy it. Let's see. I think that I beat 4 once. Tried to get Izanagi no Okami through the proper fusion by collecting the, was it 11, 12 different personas? Then I just gave up and like never touched it again afterwards. Yeah, the remake for 3 is, it's weird because it's different from the originals. Like the mechanics are roughly the same, but it doesn't have the classic feel that like 4 and 3 did. But it's also not like 5 either, which makes it in a weird spot. It's basically its own thing. And it like doesn't appeal really to the classic fans because they changed a bunch of stuff. But it also doesn't really appeal to the Persona 5 fans too because it's not really heavy on the relationship aspects. And the main character is like not super relatable either, unless you're literally chronically depressed, because that's his whole personality. But I think it definitely fits better if you are or were in the emo, depressed, life is terrible stage. Whereas 4 and 5 are just fun to play in general. I enjoy the remake just because I like the gameplay loop, the exploring Tartarus and getting personas, fusing them, and then getting stronger and stuff. But the story and everything... no, the story is good too, but like the social aspects of it doesn't line up as well. There's not enough of that there, if that's what you wanted from the remake. I personally was looking forward to seeing the story and just seeing all the characters rendered in glorious Unreal Engine. Unfortunately, I did not get the traumatizing scene rendered in Unreal Engine. They chose to be a bit more family friendly with that, and then instead of full gore decomposition, it was just blue butterflies. But yeah, Persona is definitely one of my favorite franchises. If you like dating, the dating aspect of it, what are some of the games that are like that? Like visual novels for sure are good. Fire Emblem Awakening kind of has that. Like the Fire Emblem games too, with the support and stuff. What else has that? I used to play a lot of them, and I have them on a list somewhere, but I don't remember them offhand right now. My brain is currently too preoccupied with all this stuff. I do wonder though why they haven't actually just made a separate spin-off of Persona where it's literally the like school simulator, because there's definitely a giant audience for it, and there are people who would absolutely play that, but like they just don't. It's absolutely an untapped market. Just the going throughout the day, increasing your stats for your main character, like your charm, intelligence, and everything, having the random events throughout your high school life, as well as the relationship aspect of it, because that definitely would do well. The problem, I guess, is that they lean too much into the combat loop of that. Maybe that's why Persona 6 is taking so long, though. They probably are stuck at a crossroad of figuring out what the heck they want to do with the next game. Because, like you, there are a lot of fans who are in it for the social life aspect, where you build confidants or social links, and then, like, is it 90? I would say like 90% of the gameplay is in this town, where you just level up your attributes and prepare. But the problem is that if you have that as the main gameplay loop, you have to have a story that works too. And if they're still doing the high school setting, the problem is what like societal thing they have to talk about, right? Yeah, it's been so long since since a new Persona came out. But all the Persona games kind of deal with a major world concept. Like, I think 3 was the end of times, because that was like the the early 2010s, around there, where everyone thought that the world was going to end in 2012. So that's why we have the whole big world ending thing. Persona 5 is because I think Japan had a big justice issue dilemma. Like the convictions and stuff and false accusations were super big around the time the original 5 came out. 4, I think, is around the time there was that big stalker idol scandal, which is why Risei is in the game, as well as why Adachi is like the way he is. And then the problem would be what 6 would be, right? There's tons of stuff going on right now for the world conflicts that would be themes. I guess the biggest one they would do would be social media and or content creation, or they would do AI. But then they kind of already did AI with Strikers, so I think what's a dilemma for them is that they're kind of out of topic material, which is probably why it's taken a while. And yeah, Rise is adorable. I wish that they would actually show her in the later Personas. Like, I think there's a poster for her in 5. I was so looking forward to just a cameo or something from her there. Sadly, that's all we got. Yeah, I think that the problem is that it's so charged for that. I don't know if, since Persona is a Japanese based, what's the word, IP? It would depend on if they want to touch that, because they're also very conservative, as far as I can tell, in their topic matter. But it is definitely prevalent. So it would definitely be possible if we shifted it to war as the general theme. But like, how do you do high schoolers to do that, you know? If they bring back the metaverse as a big part, definitely doable. But they also seem to not like repeating concepts. Like Tartarus, the TV world, and the metaverse are very similar, but they're not quite the same. Oh, actually, no, I take that back. Persona 1 and 2 literally had the Führer in it, so the Middle East is definitely not off topic. I forgot about that. You know, you might be right. We'll see, because it looks like they're gonna redo or re-push Persona 1 and 2, and those deal very heavily with the world wars and that sort of stuff too, so maybe they'll test the water with that topic. Oh, don't jinx it. I'll just wish you well, but it's better to not speak things into existence. So I won't even mention what your comment said. But I am a firm believer that words have power, and that you should never say or write things that you don't wish to happen, because the universe has a habit of tempting fate and making people correct in all the worst ways. I mean, that's the theme of Persona, isn't it? Like, the words you say can affect reality as a whole due to perception. There was all the rumors in the metaverse for 4. No, for 5. For 4, it was the TV channel rumors. For 3, it was the... what's it called? The End Times cult? I forget what they're called, actually. The ones that follow Nyx. The Fall. But yeah, it's rough out there. Oh, I know you meant that as a joke. I just personally don't say even those things as a joke, because I don't know if it's true in your life, but in my life, everything I say tends to come back and bite me eventually. Not in the like scandal sort of way, but I just have a weird history of even things I say jokingly coming true. Like one time in high school, there was a contest where they drew a person's name out of a hat. It was completely random. I was there with my friend, and while they were drawing, I called out his name as the winner, and then immediately he was the winner. There was another time where there was a school-wide drawing for raffling about a brand new book for a famous author. And then I jokingly said it'd be great if I won, and then they called my name. So I have since learned that I probably have a supernatural ability to speak things into existence. So I'm very careful about it. And thank you. I hope that more people can see me too, so I can bring a bit more value into their lives. I'm grateful for your support, and then I hope you also have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy, relax, and take it easy. Wishing you well, and plenty of good luck. I'm probably going to be ending soon too in a bit anyway, since I'm getting close to the 1 hour mark. Gotta build up my vocal stamina for streaming, so I'm not planning to do too much. But back to philosophizing and all that jazz, as well as trying to find the cheat code to reducing difficulty. So, thus far... Oh, take care. Good luck on your studies. I will say that you will get at least 90s in half of them and over 80 in the rest. But back to the question on difficulty. I am fairly certain that we've come to the conclusion it's simply a matter of processing. Something is hard if you have to process a lot of it as new information. That means that the so-called prodigies of a skill or topic are simply people who either possess tangential information and skills that line up closely to it, i.e. American football players and rugby, or they are people with the trained ability to find similarities between the topics, and those similarities include dissimilarities. Like how saying green and red are similar because they are not blue. It is the definitions that allow you to analogize them properly. And then in chunking the information this way, processing becomes simpler because you have grouped what should be unfamiliar with what is already familiar. It's like laying down a lot of laying down anchors in your mind and paving paths. So if that's the case, that means that if you want to learn anything new quickly, the fastest way to do so is to not listen to what other people have to say and their perspective on it, but instead to look at it with your own eyes and see how similar it is to things that you already know. Either that, or you forcibly do repetitions until it becomes familiar enough for your brain that it marks it as familiar. I think that's what has happened with me doing these images and quick poses so frequently and so quickly. By seeing so many of them, I have reduced my processing time, so even though I am having to quickly put out all the information within 30 seconds to try and recreate what I'm seeing, at least in terms of the pose, it doesn't seem hard for me. It's just incomplete. Like, the act of doing this isn't difficult for me. It doesn't take much thought. Oh, that's definitely an interesting epiphany. When people say something is easy, right? They kind of also say that they don't need to think about it, or they just did it, or it comes naturally to them. In that case, The ideal state to be in is the state where you don't have any conscious thought. It would have to be in a relaxed state where your brain doesn't spend any extraneous processing power, where it is simply focused and tuned in to the current task. Now the question is how you achieve that. I'm partially achieving that right now by overloading my cognitive portion of my brain through talking like this. Since I am using my conscious thoughts to parse out and discuss with you about these topics, my brain doesn't have the luxury to think about whether or not it is doing proper recreations of what I'm seeing. Hesitation isn't there because my brain doesn't have the luxury to waste on saying whether or not what I'm doing is cringe like most people would do. Since I am strictly overloading my mental capacity, my brain just flags it as pure data. And then it's building the muscle memory for all the parts while also memorizing the key features bit by bit by bit. And I can see that because clearly my drawings are starting to add a bit more features into them. Like, I have begun processing it well enough to where I can kind of start adding in facial features. They're still super wonky because I just am still unfamiliar with them, but we'll definitely get better at that as more time passes. And time will pass. Speaking of time, looks like we've crossed the hour mark. So I'll just say goodbye here, and I'll catch you again tomorrow. Take care.